right now we are joined by broadcasting. Can I call you royalty? Is that fair? I mean, would that
well,
be?
That's not, that's not necessary.
Well,
not.
I mean, listen. I think everybody hears the voice. I mean, everybody hears Jim Gray, and they go, "Oh, I know him." Like you've got.
That's very nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Obviously, International Boxing Hall of Famer Jim Gray, and I want to ask you. Obviously, congratulations on an incredible run, incredible career. Why do you think you've been able to do this at as high of a level as you've done it for as long as you've done it?
That's kind of hard for me to assess, but I just think that, I've just tried to ascertain information and let the public hear it and let them see what goes on and ask the questions that we're all curious about. I mean, I'm just watching the game like you're watching the game, like all of us. And, it's just, they've just been normal. They've just been average. Like, this is just what it is that was in front of us. So let's ask the folks about it, never in a way other than to ascertain information and to enlighten and to let people look in and see what's going on and find out why, find out what, find out how. And so I think that it just kind of, that enables you to have longevity. And, I've been fortunate. I've been lucky. I've had good bosses. I've had people who've trusted me, and that's part of it too. You earn the trust of what it is you're doing. And I grew up, Jonas, in an era where you weren't trying to make a headline or have a hot take. You were trying to get that information, and the relationship mattered. So my career has been based on relationships. From the first interview I did with Muhammad Ali, he then let me do the last interview some 30-something years later of his career. So the relationship with whoever it has been has always been, I knew Kobe Bryant since 2 weeks after he was born. So, until unfortunately when he passed away. But it was more important to me that we continued that relationship and had a rapport. And when he was asked when I went into the Boxing Hall of Fame, how would you describe Jim Gray? Give me one word. He said honest. Well, that still touches me in a way because that's what I've tried to do, is just be honest. Be honest with the people I've dealt with, be honest with the people I've worked for, and be honest with the public. And you shouldn't be congratulated for that. That should just be normal. That should just be what it is. But, it does touch me in a way that's how he felt, and perhaps that's an answer to your question.
Obviously, you love it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing it as long as you've done it. And, some people will say, why do you do what you do? Well, you do it because you love it. Where did that love start? Where was the point to where you said, oh, that right there, I'm doing that?
I never had a plan. I love sports from the time I grew, from I can remember. I loved throwing the ball with my dad. I loved going to the games with him. I loved hanging out in the neighborhood and playing wiffle ball and baseball and football. And then I was tennis. I played tennis, and I was a city champion in Denver for tennis for a few years. And then at my high school, we won the city championship. So, it was just kind of something that I always loved. And then I became a videotape editor when they were converting from film to videotape. Jonas, all the guys who were older, the film guys, the union guys, they took the buyout. So a bunch of young kids got to be able to be videotape editors. And so I was a videotape editor. And one day I was sitting in my booth for the ABC station in Denver. And they came in and said, you were the sports intern and you edit all the sports videotape. I said, yeah. So 7 o'clock in the morning says, Muhammad Ali's 2.5 hours early at the airport. We can't find anybody. Go interview him. Well, I was dressed like this. I certainly wasn't dressed in a fashion to go greet Muhammad Ali, and I'd never done an interview, never done one interview. So I went out there and interviewed Muhammad Ali. He was getting ready to fight Leon Spinks, and then after that he was going to fight Lyle Alzado, who was a Denver Bronco, became a Raider, was a very famous defensive end, number 77, and he was going to have an exhibition against him in Mile High Stadium. So I did the interview. Ali, when I walked in and sat down, he said, you're doing this interview, you don't even shave. And he was right. But that made me laugh like you laughed, and it just broke the ice. And the whole entourage, 25 people there. Third or fourth question, he said, you sound like the local Howard Cosell. And I thought, wow, what a compliment. Because I've been watching Howard Cosell my whole life, and I'm thinking, that guy's great. I love Howard Cosell. It was a love-hate relationship with Howard Cosell, and I loved him. And so took the interview back, make a long story short. And the guy who ran the bureau, a man named Roger Ogden, was my boss. He didn't even know my name. Came in and he watched that videotape for an hour and a half, watched the 45 minutes that Ali gave me twice. He got up and he stood up and he looked at me. He said, Jim, you in this interview are going on the air. It's barely adequate. So I tell everybody I've been barely adequate ever since.
Well, look, the great Jim Gray joining us here on Fox Sports Radio. Jonas Knox with you. I don't know that people understand how difficult it is to do this for as long as you have at as high a level as you've had. Because, look, man, less than a year into my first opportunity, I got laid off. Like, there are so many changes that happen. It's such the broadcast business is always in flux, even to this day. And so if you go back and you talk about, all the interviews you've done, all the greats that you've been in the ring with or on the court with or on the field with, do you go back to a moment to where you say, when I decide on my terms, I'm good here, that's the one I think about most fondly?
Say that again.
Is there a moment, an interview, a guest, a question, an answer you got that you look back on and go, that's the one I think about when I decide I'm ready to call it a career?
No, I don't have that yet. I don't have that moment. I mean, I've had several moments that I'm really proud of and several moments that have been really, satisfying and unique, but they've all been great. Like, I'm looking forward to talking to Manny Pacquiao. Yeah. What happens if he pulls this off? And
no kidding.
A guy at 46
no
and
kidding.
He wins a title after he gets into the Hall of Fame, after he hasn't fought for 4 years. So it's still exciting to me. I still enjoy it. I mean, I still like doing my show with Brady and Belichick and Max Crosby and Peter King and so forth. So, no, it's still fun. I still like coming to these fights. I still like, going to games. I've always loved going to the arena and seeing the games and talking to people. And it's given me every opportunity that I've had in my life. So I haven't looked to say that this is the end, because I still look at myself like that 17-year-old that was in wonderment of going to talk to Muhammad Ali. I still feel like I'm lucky I get to do this because I'm talking for a living. And Stedman Graham and Oprah gave me the best advice that I'd ever heard. Jim Gray, they're paying you to talk. Just keep talking. Just keep talking. I could be building bridges or paving roads or selling telephones or doing all kinds of stuff, but I get to talk, and I get to ask people questions. And so that's pretty good, isn't it? I mean, he doesn't get much better than that.
I mean, you mentioned Manny Pacquiao obviously fighting Barrios coming up later on. At this age, coming off retirement, hasn't fought since 2021, the career that he's had. What has impressed you most about Manny Pacquiao? Not just the fighter, but the man, the person you've interviewed as many times as you have.
That he's so great with people, that he held public office, that somebody wants something from him every second of his life, every minute, every hour, every day, so on and so forth. Somebody wants something from him all the time. And he seemingly has taken care of a whole lot of folks. And he's left himself for good for future generations. So I admire the person and the way that he behaves, at least the public side that we get to see. I don't know him well, so I don't know the private side. I'm only in his company when I'm interviewing him or at a fight or, perhaps at a production meeting or something of this nature. But I think it's hard to share your life with the world. And that's what he's done. And think about his family and what they have to go through. And, when nothing is ever private, and all of this changed, obviously, with the advent of the iPhone 16, 17 years ago and the cell phones and so forth. Everybody's walking around with cameras and videotape machines, and every place we walk in, we're in a room right here. There's probably 18 sets of cameras in this room that we can't see, or even if we do see it, that is probably zoomed right in on us and possibly can hear it. So your whole life now is dissected moment to moment, and I just think that it's really a difficult circumstance to have to live like that all the time. It's not easy. And so I admire when I see people in public who never, ever snap, who never have bad public moments. Michael Jordan was like that. You ever seen Michael Jordan have a bad public moment?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, now you think about it.
Remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah, now you think about it.
It's remarkable.
He navigated those waters nicely.
And it was great. And that's why we all feel so great about him. You know what? We loved what he did on the court. We loved what we saw away from the court. He patted every kid on the head. He took the picture. He did whatever it was that we saw. And so that's what I admire about Manny. And I don't think that's an easy life. In fact, I know that's a difficult life, being close to a number of great athletes. It's not easy. It's very difficult, and it's very hard for the families.
Jim Gray joining us here on Fox Sports Radio. Jonas Knox with you. So tell me about the Hall of Excellence, because I'm watching the Dan Patrick Show about 4 weeks ago. I heard on many of these Fox Sports Radio affiliates, and I'm hearing you say that you've got John Madden's last plane ticket.
That's correct.
Okay, hold on. How does one get a hold of John Madden's last plane ticket?
Well, in this instance, I called Mike Madden, and Mike Madden is John's son, who's a good friend of mine, and I lived with John Madden. I lived at John Madden's home in the Dakota for many years in the 80s and 90s when John was riding around on the train and the bus, and we were good friends. And I took my first job at NBC. I left ESPN and was going to the network at NBC, and when I got to take the job, they wanted me to relocate in New York, and I lived in Los Angeles. So I was playing golf with Madden one day, and he said, "Here, Gray, just stay in my apartment at the Dakota." So I was like the guy who came for dinner and never left. Okay, I was there forever, and so I got to know John really well. Love John, love his family, love the Raiders, and everything. And he was just a great influence on my life. We had so much fun. We spent a lot of meals and a lot of time, traveled on the bus. So when we got the Hall of Excellence ready, and the Hall of Excellence is named because of commitment to excellence and because of my relationship with Al Davis, who wanted to build his own Raiders museum and never got around to it in his life. Perhaps Mark, his terrific son, will. But I said to Al when he told me that this is what he wanted to do, I said, you said commitment to excellence. Your museum should be the Hall of Excellence. He said, "Jimmy, that's a good idea." So I took that name all these years later. And Tom and I created this, but I called Mike Madden. I said, "Mike, I need something from your dad. He was a big influence in my life, the greatest broadcaster ever. He created the Madden game. He's one of the greatest coaches of all time, and we need to have his own display case in our museum. What can you send?" So Mike sent me some great artifacts from John's life, and one of them was the last plane ticket from John.
I mean, for people that just understand, that was the most amazing part about the whole collection, because it's because you've got the Hall of Excellence, and it's a world-class sports and entertainment museum. It's at the Fontainebleau in Las Vegas here. It opened to the public Friday, June 20th. So you've got Muhammad Ali's gloves. You've got Tom Brady's Super Bowl rings. You've got like all of these great pieces of memorabilia, and then I hear you got Madden's last plane ticket, and I'm thinking to myself, how does one get a hold of that? So it does make sense, obviously, your relationship with him. Piece of memorabilia you look at the Hall of Excellence that you're like, ooh, I wouldn't mind having that. That might be.
Well, we do have it. That's why it's there.
Yeah, I mean,
you mean own it?
You personally, something keepsake for Jim Gray.
The things that are closest to me, and like we have Jackie Robinson's bat that broke the color barrier. Okay, that's a piece of history. All right, Babe Ruth's called shot bat. These are historical items that are part of the entire makeup of Americana. Okay, that are that important. Billie Jean King's dress for the Philadelphia Freedom. Okay, these are things that can't be seen anyplace else, that are now being shared with the public. You name it. We have a trophy that's almost everything that's competed for in life, from Clint Eastwood's Academy Award for Unforgiven to Oprah Winfrey's Medal of Freedom to Tom Weiskopf's Claret Jug. They're playing for the Claret Jug right now. We have Tom Weiskopf's, to the Heisman Trophy of Charles Woodson, Fox, one of our colleagues at Fox, and just a great guy, former Raider, former Packer, Hall of Famer. We have the Yankees 1998 World Series Commissioner's Trophy from their greatest season ever with their most wins ever. So there's something in here for almost everybody. Bill Russell's MVP trophy. It's now the Bill Russell MVP trophy, and we have the original one. So he won 11 times, and now they give that to the MVP of the finals. We can go on and on and on, and it's all there.
Just come see it. Everybody just come see it. Just come see for yourself.
Yeah, the Hall of Excellence, and the Fontainebleau has been a great partner. Jeffrey Sofer and everybody over there, they've just been terrific. It's really been a pleasure, and it took us 8 years to get all of this and put it all together. And as far as boxing stuff, there's some of the great stuff in boxing history. Joe Louis is trunks and his shoes from his first title fight that he won.
Wow.
And all the way up to Tyson's gloves and Muhammad Ali's final robe that he prepared for Trevor Berbick, and his gloves against Chevalier, his toughest fight. So there's 320 items that are in there, and every single one of them are of historic impact.
Amazing. Your career's been amazing.
Well,
we appreciate your time. The great Jim Gray joining us here on Fox Sports Radio. Jonas Knox with you here on FSR, and we look forward to the coverage and Manny Pacquiao fighting yet again later on tonight. We'll see if he can add to his illustrious career. Thanks so much, Jim.
Jonas, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bo, we all good?
Thank you very much.
Cool.
Thank you. Awesome. I live in Thousand Oaks in LA. Yeah, I'm in LA.